Hi, you guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Louise Nunga. I am the owner and founder of Mobile Beauties. MobileBeauties.com is a marketplace for hair braiders. And on this channel, we pretty much talk about all things that would help you to become a professional, great, money-making hair braider. So today we're going to be talking about the 10 tips on how to do a professional hair braiding consultation that will leave your clients happy, that will leave you happy. And the happy client, more money, more happy clients, more money, more referrals you get. And so today I just wanted to really, based on my 15 years experience in the hair braiding business and as a hair braider, I wanted to just really share with you guys how important it is to do a proper consultation with your client. I know that with coloring or hair colorists or hair salons that don't really specialize in braiding, they do great consultation. But I did notice that as the hair braiders do not really take the time out to do a proper hair consultation. I think we assume that because we know how to braid, that as long as the client lets us know what they want, then we go ahead and deliver and expect them to be happy because hair braiding is not that serious, or we feel as though it's not something that we should overthink it because we're skilled and we're talented. But that is very wrong. Just like any other service that people get, a great consultation goes a very, very long way. So let's just get right into it. This is going to be a straightforward video, straight to the point, very short, very, I want to say detailed, but not too detailed to the point where it makes this video long. So tip number one, have a booking system with details in your listing. Have a booking system. I cannot stretch that enough. If you've watched my previous videos, you will see that that's something that I always recommend. In 2020, there is absolutely no excuse why every hair braider should not have a booking website or a booking link or a booking system that clients can click on, whether it's via your social media or through a text message where you can just send it to a client, or they can find you and go ahead, look at your price listing and just book you immediately without having to DM you, without having to even call you. Because if you list your business, your services on the booking system with as much detail as possible, then you minimize the amount of phone calls that you get. And that can really save you time and the headache for, and you don't want to be a call center where you're doing a client's hair and you're busy answering phone calls and answering questions for other clients. That's very unprofessional. Clients do not like that. So make sure you have a booking system. There's so many options out there. I love Acuity scheduling. That's what we use on Mobile Beauty's platform. We love it. We love it. It is very specific for beauticians. I know a lot of other people have tried different platforms, but the one that I'm familiar with is Acuity scheduling. So research. There are a lot of them that have free trials. Like Acuity has a free package for one person. If you're a one-person staff, you can definitely start with your free package. Number two, call to verify the details and introduce yourself to the client. So after the client has booked their appointment online and they have chosen a service, and I'm assuming that you have given the detail, the size, the length, the amount of time that will take, the pricing, as detailed as possible to save you any headache. This is from experience of good experience and bad experience, where we have tried our best to make sure that we go as detailed as possible as far as even your policy, whatever it is that you want your business to represent, you need to list it in the booking system. So number two, call them, verify, hey, how are you doing? My name is Louise. I'm calling you from Mobile Beauties. I just wanted to make sure that I verify all the details and I answer any questions that you have. And you just introduce yourself. And if they don't have any questions, great. I'll see you on whatever day that they booked. Or if they have any questions, try your best to answer all their questions so that they feel comfortable and you feel comfortable. So that when the two of you meet, you already have established a relationship. So make sure that you call them a day before. Normally here at Mobile Beauties, we call on the day of the appointment or the day before the appointment if we have any questions. If there is no question, or if it is a repeat client, you don't have to do that for repeat customers, because of course they already know you already know them, you know what they like, and so forth and so on. So you don't have to do that for repeat customers. But for new customers, definitely call them a day before or a couple of hours before the appointment. But I really suggest a day before, so that way they feel guaranteed that you are going to show up, or if they're coming to you, they're guaranteed that your spot is reserved and you are aware that they're coming. It makes them feel special. It makes them feel like you are looking forward to giving them a great service. That's a great way to start off the process. Number 3, and I'm reading, forgive me for looking down, but I'm reading my notes. Number 3, once the client arrives, be friendly with them, but very professional. Not friendly where you feel like they are your high school friend, where you guys can kick it and just, you can say, girl, shut up, or you can just lose yourself. Be very friendly, but always remember that this is a professional relationship. I don't care if they are already your friend or if they're a family member. When someone comes for your service and you are charging them, make sure that you have a professional mentality going on while you're servicing them. I've had beauticians, or braiders rather, who have gotten too comfortable and have either used profanity towards clients because they felt very comfortable, and the clients have either not booked them again because they were uncomfortable, or they have definitely let us know that they're not comfortable with that. We've had situations where even your personal belief system, whether you feel as though, let's say for example, you feel as though gay rights or abortion rights or political situations or religious differences, try to always keep that to a minimum unless the client invites you into the conversation. And even if they invite you into the conversation, always keep a professional, neutral territory. You do not want to offend them, and I'm sure that you yourself do not want to be offended. So unless I get to know a customer either the second time around or the third time around, and I already know what their values are, and if it matches my values, then we can share on that. I've met many great fellow believers where we've shared the Bible, we've shared the word, we've even prayed, but that's based on what they give me during the conversation and what they also feed from my conversation to them. Because this is not to say that you hide who you are, or you're not allowed to disclose what your belief system are, but if you have to be wise in the way that you present who you are, where it's not offensive or it doesn't make your client feel uncomfortable or unwelcomed. So if you are, I don't know, homophobic or something, you better know how to carry yourself. First of all, that's wrong, but I'm here to speak to everybody. So just so that, let's just talk about that for an example. You need to know how to carry yourself where you don't make people feel uncomfortable. And you need to make sure that you deal with that while you're going through whatever it is that you're dealing with, that you need to deal with. Make sure that you deal with that with yourself at home, and you don't bring that to your client. So number 4 actually, ask them if they have any allergies. So what I do is that once the client sits down and after we've done the introduction, we're friendly, they have a seat, I ask them, hey, are you allergic to anything, jam or any specific oil? Because nowadays people have so many different types of allergies, or they just don't like to use maybe jam, or maybe they're on a natural journey or chemical-free products journey. You want to ask them what they're comfortable with you using on their hair. You don't just want to assume that everybody's okay with using jam. You don't want to assume that everybody's okay with, I use a twist powder, which is really mainly ashes, and mixed with other stuff. So I let them know, I give them the full disclosure what it is, so they're comfortable and you're not just putting stuff on their hair. So make sure you ask them if they have any allergies or if they're okay with the products that you're going to use on their head. Number 5, ask if they're tender-headed And if possible, you can ask them also like where, I know some people have sensitivity spots. Some of them, it might be around the edges. Some of them, it might be in the middle spot. Some of them, it might be in their, their naps. So make sure that you ask them, hey, are you tender headed? Is there a specific area that is more sensitive? So that way you can be aware and you can make them feel comfortable also, that you care about them being comfortable. Even if your hand hurts, we have braiders who can braid your scalp, and as much as we have trained them to reduce that, and they have reduced it, but still there's some people that braid tight and there's some people that do pinless braids like myself. But the fact that you even ask your client, hey, are you tender headed, and you disclose to them that, okay, you'll do your best to make them comfortable, automatically, psychologically, even if you're very tight, they feel you've pretty much almost made them a little bit less tense, and that reduces the amount of pressure that they're going to feel. So it just works both ways to ask that question. Even if you know that your hand hurts, still ask that question. And if they are tender-headed, do your best. Do your best to make sure that you make them feel comfortable, and you do your best to not make it so tight. I don't believe in tight braids that hurt, that has to take a couple of days for clients to breathe. I think that we should all learn how to make sure that the braiding experience loses that bad reputation of being too tight, or people losing your edges, or people losing hair. It really doesn't have to be too tight for it to last long or to look good. I think I might do some videos on that later on how the techniques that I use to do my painless braids. Number 6, ask if they want it. If they want, let's say for example, they're getting box braids. I always ask, do you want it full? Do you want it really full? Do you want it light? Do you want it just enough? And they'll kind of tell me where they are. Now that helps me also in pricing, because if it's something where they're like they booked for average size box braids, and then I ask them, do you want it full, light, or just enough, and they tell me they really love it full, they don't want to see they don't want to see any of their scalp, then I know automatically that that's not, they didn't book the right appointment, and I know that's going to be an extra charge, because then I have to part your hair smaller than what you booked for. So that also helps me to let you know that, hey, sure, I can do that, but that's going to be extra because it will take more time and it will take more hair. So that also helps you as well in your price point and not feeling taken advantage of, because people will book, and then when you get there they tell you something a little bit different than what the book. So the consultation helps both parties. Number 7, verify the size of the braid by doing 1 or 2 braids and then asking the customer to look at it, or they can feel it and let you know which size that they want, because sometimes pictures and actually in real life, or maybe they've seen it on somebody else and they're not really sure, or maybe they're not really used to getting braids to even know what exactly they want, or what the difference is of a small size to a medium size to a jumbo size. You want to make sure that you remove yourself from any situations where you've done the whole head and then they're not happy with the size. So I always try to do 2 braids. I do one a little bit bigger than the other, and then I ask them to go look it in the mirror, let me know which one they prefer, and then they'll let me know, and then we're cool. That's another way where they feel even more comfortable. So then after that, you're good to go. Now, after that, that was number 7. Number 6, I think I just kind of mentioned this before, where give a full price disclaimer after you have gone through these steps. The first 6 steps, you should already be having an idea if they're still within the price range that they selected, or if there's going to be an upcharge, or if there's going to be a downcharge. It really depends. So let's say if they wanted it light, you know that that's going to be less. If they wanted it fuller, you know that that's going to be more. So it really depends. Just make sure that you give them a full disclaimer so that there is no confusion before you even get started with your whole head. So that way they know what, there's no surprises where they're surprised at the end and they're unhappy, because at that point, even if you did a great job on their head, if they were not ready to pay extra and you didn't tell them that, that has caused a lot of problems for us braiders and for the clients as well. So always try to give full price disclaimer after the consultation, because yes, they booked for a specific price online, but once you do a physical consultation, the prices may change. Number 9. So after a few braids, I always ask the client, hey, how was the tension? How was the pain? How was the pain level? At this point. So if I do like the first 2 rolls, I'll ask them, hey, how you feel? Are you feeling good? You still okay? Is it too tight, or do you need me to loosen it up a little bit? And they'll let me know. And I tell you, it changes the game for your client. That alone has had clients that come to me, even if I am not the best specific braider for a specific style, they still come because of the consultation process and just the process and the ease and the comfort that I let them to feel. So make sure that you ask them every couple of braids, even when you go halfway. Hey, you still okay? You're good? Is the tension okay? That makes them feel really, really good. So that when you leave your house, you don't want to get a text message that, oh my God, you braided, I can't sleep. I've had clients who are braided, did their hair, and 2 days later they had to take it down. And I'm sure you guys have heard stories like that where they had to take it down because it was too painful. So you don't want that, especially if you want to grow your business and have repeat clients and have referrals. I'd rather you do it loose, not loose where it's falling off, but do it loose where let them tell you do it tighter. Or you can learn for next time that, hey, the client prefers, they'll let you know, hey, I prefer, can you do a little bit tighter? So try your best not to make the braiding experience so uncomfortable and so painful for your braiders. 10. So number 10. Once you're done and you have trimmed it, you have put the mousse, the gel, done everything, do the last minute touch up, tell your client to go look at the hairstyle and let you know if there's anything that you need to change. That also helps the both of you, especially if the client goes and they have an issue with it. Because I have had clients where when I didn't say that, they just said, hey, I love it, or they didn't say nothing, or they were happy, I like it, and then I left a few minutes or a few hours later, I'm getting a text message that they hate their hairstyle and if there's something that we can do. So I make sure that before you leave my seat, if there's anything that I need to fix, let me know right there and then so I can fix it. Because if I have to come back, then I have to charge you. Or at least, we have an understanding that I gave you that opportunity for you to let me know if there's anything I need to adjust. That saves the both of you time as well. So when you give them that option, then it's not a one-sided feeling where you expect them to love the hair. I always tell them, hey, let me know if there's anything or you don't like it. If there's anything I need to change, just let me know and I'll be sure to fix it. And I have had situations where if it was like a cornrow was crooked or there was a braid that was just hanging somewhere, I've had to redo certain hairstyles where the client was like, I don't love it. And we redid it. And then they loved it and we were cool and they were happy. So I don't mind staying there and redoing it to get the hairstyle exactly the way the client wants it. And that helps. It's not going to be as, I know that sounds like maybe if I did a whole head of box braids and you have to read it. No, it cannot get to that point because if you've already done the size consultation halfway through the hair, you have asked them, how does it feel? If you're uncomfortable, you can have them go look at it. I don't like them looking at it halfway because then they start looking at it from when it's not fully done, it looks awkward sometimes. So, but at this point, after all the steps that you've taken, you shouldn't be in a situation where you have to redo the whole head unless it's a simple braided hairstyle. So guys, that is it for today. This is Louise, and I'm going to start calling us the Braider Pride. This is a pride of powerful braiding women and men, because men be snatching it these days. I've seen some videos, and so I really want to build a community for braiders where we can learn how to carry ourselves as business owners and not just a hair braider, because it changes the game once you see yourself as a business owner and not just a hair braider. I will see you guys on the next video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so and share this video with other braiders that you know. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.